So I guess it's going to be an intimate presentation and short. We are here to present our new educational program that runs all over the world, and it's called Fabricademy, the New Textile Academy. I am Anastasia Pistofidou. I am an architect, but I work for the last 7 years at Fab Barcelona, and I have funded the Fab Textiles and Materials Lab. Together with Fab Barcelona, we experiment with new processes and new techniques of digital fabrication. And annually, we collaborate with the Fab Foundation and the Fab Lab Network. Annually, we present the developments and different people around the world that they work with technology and fashion.
I'm Cecilia Raspanti from Berg Society, Fab Lab Amsterdam, and I founded 1.5 years ago the Textile Lab Amsterdam, where we do very similar things than the ones that Anastasia has been doing in Barcelona. We work with digital fabrication, synthetic biology, heritage, craftsmanship techniques applied to the textile and clothing field. So, about 1.5 years ago, we started discussing about how there is so many educational programs in the textile and the fashion field, but none of them actually were addressing technology in an achievable way, in a way where it's accessible. So, and in these days, you've seen many Fab Labs present here at Maker Faire, many projects from Fab Labs. And of course, Fab Labs have their own educational program, that is Fabricademy. Lately, they also added Bio Academy, and we really felt like we had a need for exactly the same kind of format of accessible education, access to technology, new technologies, for the fashion and clothing industry. Can you? So why? Why textiles? Well, it's useless to say that textiles are covering everything all over the world. We wear textiles, our houses are covered in textiles, our cars, the whole fair is covered in textiles. And unfortunately, they're not produced in very sustainable ways. And most of the time, we don't even talk about how unsustainable this is. We talk about mass consumption, but we don't talk about the technology that is not changing behind this. And we see an industry that is wanting to change, is willing to change, and is looking for alternatives, but often has a question, how am I going to do this? How am I going to implement these technologies in production processes and designing processes, rather than just in selling more, faster, and in the whole retail section? So, what is the scope of Fabricademy? Fabricademy wants to really train a new generation of professionals in the textile and clothing industry that work globally in a decentralized way to share knowledge to make this change happen and the evolution in change continuously happen. Because we see that the industry and the education in this field are both not working towards what we believe in, not working towards the concept that Fab Labs create of openness, of decentralized, of sharing knowledge and access to technology. So this is what we wanted to do with Fabricademy. Fabricademy is a transdisciplinary course that focuses on the development of new technologies applied to the specific field, the textile and fashion industry. It's a program from the network, for the network, and outwards. So it's not a program just for Fab Labs, but also for textile labs, for hubs, for any kind of laboratory that has the right equipment and the knowledge to be able to give the knowledge again to others.
So we made, let's say, a menu of skill set that the textile designer and fashion designer needs to have, and that tackles different kind of technologies. The program is separated in 2 parts, and it's a 6-month program. It has 13 lectures that they run every week. And then there is a 2.5-month project development. We tackle different thematics, and we give a different skill set to the participants, that they come from different disciplines. So we will talk a little bit more about what are the disciplines of our participants, but let's go through the program. The program initially, it puts you in the context with the state of art, that you learn. The fashion industry is very progressive and innovative, so there are new technologies, but the objective always is optimization for more production. It's not optimization for a better and fair and sustainable production. Then we go to the digital bodies, which is mainly how we think that the future will be with body scanning, with having the digital tailor and replicating our body in order to have custom fit clothing. Then we have the circular open source fashion. We develop patterns that we upload. Mainly they are using laser cutting technology. And we also develop reconfigurable modular fashion that it has modules that you can assemble and deassemble. Thinking, for example, what if our clothes were a game or like a puzzle that we can reconfigure every time we wear. Then we have a deep dive into what is the DIY material activism, let's say, in making our own materials, designing the life of how long I want my material to live. And this is where we do biofabricating dyes and fabrics. We use natural textile dyeing, bacteria dyeing, bioplastics, biocouture recipes. And we also have a catalog where we generate our materials so that everybody can replicate. Of course, afterwards we continue into what is programming and electronics and how it is designing embedded systems that they integrate technology on the body for on-body applications. So we talk about e-textiles and wearables. And then we use computational couture, which tackles a little bit what is parametric fashion, 3D printing for fashion, what is to have a body map that according to how we bend, we have different flexibility on our 3D printed structures. Then we go into technical textiles, because actually the fashion industry is only 15% of what is the whole textile industry. They are textiles for agriculture, for automotive, for aerospace application. So we go into different techniques of using textiles, like as making composites, crystallization, solidification of fabrics. And then afterwards, we see that when you're talking about new materials and you're talking about new methods of designing materials with 3D programming and 3D modeling, then you cannot stay in the same kind of industrial processes. You will need to reinvent and redesign new machines that they will enter in the textile industry. So we have open source hardware where we make our own tools and we create our own processes that we can apply as a micro factory, small manufacturing process, and we can test if this could grow and scale up to the big industry. Then we have the second part of the coding and programming for e-textiles, where it is more about actuators, how we can connect our body to use it as an interface for music generation, for biometrics and monitoring our performance. Oh, sorry. And then we have the theory class where we see how this wearable technology has been applied already in the different fields. And we create super customized solutions with the students that they will start to think about the project that they want to develop afterwards with the mentorship. Then we tackle the soft robotics, which is more about silicon casting, integrating electronic, pneumatic, and inflatable structures. And finally, we have some applications on skin electronics, where we talk about from conductive makeup to embedding some humidity patches for monitoring your skin, or embedding small pulse patches for monitoring your body. So the weekly flow basically, and the structure is that we have a global lecture with different instructors that we have selected from all over the world. They are experts in the field every Tuesday. And then we work locally in the different hubs, in the different labs, or in the different universities with a local instructor to develop each assignment. It's a quite intense program. We started this very independently and with a big vision, so this is our team. And the faculty is different people from different places of the world that we found that they are contemporary, they are responding to the questions that we made about what will be the future of education. And the future of education is not only about having the latest technology, but is also understanding that I can reach out to an expert that is not based in my university or is not based in my city, but I can reach out and have a person from all over the world.
And it's also really about the change of the mindset in which we teach. It's about experimenting and learning from your experiments and work as a whole network. So work by sharing your design, but asking questions to all of both the teachers, but also the other students. What we see the most now is happening on Slack, actually, is that the students are interacting, and the first thing they do is post a question to everybody, ask other students, they see, you have solved this issue, how do you do this? And this is sort of the beauty of Fab Labs translated again into Fabricademy, which is something which we don't do in the fashion and textile industry. You continue?
No, you can do.
Well, here we just wanted to illustrate quickly all of our notes. And of course, the whole way, what we were just saying, that we work both locally and globally. These are the notes of this year, partially the notes of this year. And of course, next year, we're hoping to have many more notes. We will start again in September. And applications for certified labs, laboratories that can run the program will be open soon. And we hope to have many more places to create this accessibility, again, all over the world.
So we made an open call for notes, and actually we had a lot of interest from people from India, because there's a huge and massive textile industry, and from Bangalore, and it is as if you're tackling a specific issue and a specific the textile industry, so it is a reality. But we also care about how we can make this sustainable, because it's something quite new, and we asked our nodes, the ones that applied, how they will fund this program. So we have some strategies, and we try to cover and see if this is possible in different labs. So we have some labs that they applied for grants. We have some labs that they are paying for it as an investment initially, and then some others that they didn't reply. The problem here, and this is the year zero of Fabricademy, which is very interesting because we are training the trainers, we are training the instructors this year. So for the year zero, the question is, do you have the skill set in order to be able to teach the Fabricademy? And most of the people were lab managers and lab coordinators. They had the skill set and the experience, so they would run it by themselves, but some others, they would distribute the courses with the different faculty that they have inside the lab, or they would open a call for a new position, which also makes Fabricademy a sustainable program, because it will create more jobs for the training for next editions. And this, the way we did it is by having a very intensive bootcamp that we run for instructors. We run it in Barcelona, and we run it also online. And we decided that we will do this bootcamp every year. So the first one was in Barcelona, and now we are organizing the second edition of the bootcamp, which will take place very possibly in we make Milan in the end of April. And And then you can see what you need in order to be able to be part of the Fabricademy.
Many people, many labs, when they applied, they were questioning, do we have the machines, do we have the skills, as you were saying? But the beautiful thing of Fab Labs is that they're so easy to modify, is that the only things you need are some small add-ons. Because we teach biomaterials and biofabricating dyes, you will need a small biolab, which at the end of the day is just a sort of clean kitchen, because all of the bacteria and microorganisms we work with are biosafety level 1, so perfectly accessible and not harmful in any way, not to us, not to the environment. And of course, what we call a bit of a textile lab, so machines related to sewing, to stitching, to molding in different ways. Sorry, skip 3 and 1. So what is the timeline? What has been the timeline and what it will be? At the moment, so as you were saying, we had the launch of the course last year. We started the first edition. We are now halfway. We have 50 students all over the world. There is about 16 nodes, from Shanghai to Vancouver to Milano, Barcelona, Amsterdam. And in March, we launched the bootcamp. Again, in June and July, we had all of the students' applications and a big presence also at the Fab conference, which we hope to have again this year, with many workshops for the trainers interested to be able to follow the course and teach it again. And what we will do now is we will have final projects starting from this January. 19th of January, the course will continue until 26th of March, 27, the day in which they will pitch their final projects and show how they mastered all the knowledge. We will present at the Fab conference the outcomes of this, and of course we will have the graduation. And in September 2018, on the 25th, we will start again the new course.
So this year, Fabricademy had, as you said, 16 nodes and 50 students. And we are now we are missing 2 more classes until Christmas, and then after we will have the project development. And this is more or less what the students have been developing during this journey. And it is very inspiring and very motivating to have started a program that was a dream, that was something that we know that it is very difficult to implement in actually the education, like real education, to try to implement inside the university curriculum. But actually, our first year was very promising because we have a university in Germany that they have implemented it in the academic curriculum and the Maya curricular, like the Fabricademy as an elective studio. So this gives us more credibility, and it's very interesting also to see that the students, they are connecting, and they also understand that education is changing and it's not going to be closed inside the institute, but they have to connect and open and see what others they do. So the nice thing is that we have, for example, 5 to 10 students in each node, which is quite like a personal training, but at the same time we have 50 projects all around the world. Yes, this is our year 0, so now the next step is to open the application for the new nodes, verify and see how they will be able to give Fabricademy, and then have the new edition with a nice curriculum also from the projects that we will be developing. We invite you all to come and see, to join Fabricademy and see what we will be doing. In the end of March, we will be publishing the projects that they came out from this year. And we will be launching the new year in the end of the next September. That's it.
Thank you.
Short, and I don't know if you have any questions. Very nice question. So we have 4 guys
5, I think now.
and 40 something
Women. Yeah.
girls. But we have from the age range is from 19 to 60. So we have an economist that is 45, a sociologist that is 38, a chemist that is 55, and the range of the age is quite interesting. And also the people from the University of Fablab Camp Limford, that they are from 19 to 22.
And your students are the makers from FabLab, or they are come from different fields around? So that's very interesting because Nicola and me, we travel a lot and we visited about 200 FabLab in Europe the last 3 years. And usually we will meet so many guys, not about girls. So that's a good way to bring girls into FabLab.
It definitely, I mean, I think the course does a lot of things for the Fab Lab. It not only brings you new communities if you haven't been doing textiles before, so you can enlarge your community, but as you were saying, it does bring you a whole new range of people that come from fashion, from textiles and products, and it is mainly, yeah, art as well. And it is mainly women, and you create a setting for crazy multidisciplinarity. And they start seeing that actually in different types of education, they learn in very different ways, and they start mixing and matching with the people that's in the lab, which is usually mostly engineers, makers, with the fashion and textile and the art fields.
Yeah, I would say that the transition now into education is because the gender comes because of the discipline. So normally in the Fab Labs you would see engineer, programmers, architects, and interior designers. So if you tackle a specific manufacture, like an industry,
Yep.
then you have other kind of discipline coming inside. So we will have to create a new mindset that the discipline anymore doesn't exist. So it's all multidisciplinary and it's evenly in the gender. There are some movements like girls in tech, they do coding mainly, but they are not so much into making also. No, we do both. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.